Yo, what's up, man? My name's Dustin Wareham, DJ D's Nuts, 80s favorite babies all day, every day, man. And it was my first real attempt making one of these fucking videos, but I'm really trying to get the convo, hashtag the convo up and going. You know what I mean? And I just want to engage a lot of people, my generation, in some conversation and shit. You know what I mean? I feel like everyone just kind of yells at each other and nobody really wants to speak. Nobody really wants to listen anymore. Everybody just wants to yell and get their voice across. And yo, man, this is our world. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to inherit this planet, and we got to really decide where we're going with this planet and what's next. You know, so just want to introduce myself, and without further ado, let's jump into this shit. This is hashtag the convo, and I want to see what we can do if we can engage a conversation. So right off the top, first thing I want to do, man, is I got to give a huge shout out, rest in peace, rest in power, to Bill Nunn, man. Radio Raheem, you know what I mean? He's a character in Spike Lee's movie Do the Right Thing, which I feel is one of the most important movies of my life to ever come out. This movie came out 25 years ago, 1989, and it's more relevant, I feel like, today than it probably was even then, or, it's just as relevant then, but rest in peace to Radio Raheem. Radio Raheem was an integral character in the movie who unfortunately was choked out by the police in Saul's Pizzeria, or outside of Saul's Pizzeria, and unfortunately his character died, and it's very indicative of what's going on in today's society, and that's why I say that movie's relevant. I feel like we're all just living a loop. We're living, an episode or a day of that movie. We're living in Do the Right Thing, and what people fail to realize is there are a lot of Mookies out there. A lot of people who are on the verge of having a nervous breakdown and looking at those trash cans thinking, you know what? Fuck Sal's Pizzeria. It's time to throw this shit through the window and burn this motherfucker down. Maybe we can engage in a conversation before that happens, but, that's where a lot of people are at. So rest in power to Bill Nunn. Great actor. He's been in a lot of films. And it just so happens that, again, I had to shout him out or say rest in peace because, again, Do the Right Thing is just a movie that's been on my mind for the longest time now, and how relevant that shit actually is, you know what I mean? And like I said, there's a lot of people out here feeling like Mookie, feeling like the main character in that movie, feeling like, what are we going to do here? We're on the verge, you know what I'm saying? And we walking around in societies that, only want us to be sports stars or athletes and, don't want to represent us or don't want us to be anything other than, rappers, athletes, sports stars, small actors, and they don't want to give people their just due. So that's a little messed up, and I just want to touch on that, touch on some of these things, right? Another thing is like PTSD, man, post traumatic stress syndrome. Like it's real, and what I'm noticing is, there's a lot of people, not just black, not just white, not just black kids in North America, but there's a lot of people worldwide suffering from this shit. If you look on the faces of kids all around the world, specifically the Middle East, man, I feel so bad for these kids because they might be 20 years old and know nothing but war their entire life. Think about that for a second, man. Think about you're 20 years old and all you've ever known is war and chaos. That's how some of these kids in Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Lebanon, that's how some of them are living right now. And what people fail to realize is, we got to help them out. We caused some of those problems. We went in there and invaded some of those countries. We created ISIS, right? So if we're just leaving these kids to just live and deal with those problems, well, guess what? Those kids are going to come back and bite us in the ass in another 10, 15, 20 years. They'll be the next Osama bin Ladens. You know what I'm saying? They'll be the next problem that we got to handle and we got to worry about because we didn't help them out. Especially a country like Syria that let refugees from all over the Middle East in for the last, I don't know how many years. Man, you need to check that. You know what I mean? So that's just some bullshit right there. And, I've been seeing a lot of videos of just America, Canada. I saw a video yesterday of a little black girl, I believe it was in North Carolina, and she was trying to explain what's going on in North Carolina. I think she was like 6. This girl was in so many tears, and I could tell that for the rest of her life, she's going to suffer from PTSD. We're putting kids through this stuff. Why? You know what I mean? This is 2016. Why? Because we can't have equality? We still have inequality in the world? We still have inequality in North America? It's a serious fucking problem. Serious. And a lot of people will deny it and say it's not a problem. But let me tell you, it is a serious problem. If you start to ask people of color, you start to realize, oh shit, okay. This is a problem here, man. Specifically, if you start to ask, some of these native kids up here in Canada, you start to ask some of the black kids, you start to ask some of the brown kids down in America, you start to see that this is a problem. There's a reason why Black Lives Matters exists. There's a reason why we're at a discourse right now, and so many people are going at the police, going at each other. Even just this week alone, I had to remove one of my best friends off Facebook because he's making a lot of ignorant statements and not showing any empathy, rather being an apathetic person. That's fucked up. Sorry for cussing, but that's what it is. And I'm just somebody who really, I'm more of an empathetic person and not an apathetic person, if you know what I mean. I believe in change. I believe that we could be the change. We could be the agents of change and not the agents of destruction, if you know what I mean. Now, I'm talking to people of my generation and younger. I can't really speak for those older than me, but I hope that they understand where I'm coming from. But the fact of the matter is, myself at 35, I realize now that this world is mine. I might have to take it from my father, but this world is mine. And if I can't be an agent of change in this world, then I'm a fucking agent of destruction. And I don't want to be an agent of destruction, if you know what I'm saying, right? So right now, it's really crazy. I'm seeing a lot of this shit. I'm seeing a lot of young guys, my counterparts, some of them white, let's say mostly white. I'm seeing a lot of them right now, and I'm not going to say all at all, because that's BS. But I see some that right now are claiming that the North American lifestyle, the European lifestyle is under attack, and, there's not going to be, white people left in 20 years and all this stuff. Man, that's fucking BS. Absolute fucking BS. Now, there's a couple things you need to realize. Number one, the world we live in today was shaped by Europe and North America, primarily by Europe. The laws are written by Europeans. The history books are written by Europeans. And this world was colonized by Europe. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't bring their culture to other countries to share their culture. They went and invaded other countries, then told them, this is how you're going to live. That's not sharing your culture. That's destruction. Okay? Now, I understand that this was in the past, and we're trying to move past that, which is amazing. Great stuff. But you have to understand that some of these countries are left in states of disarray. And when you have these people acting as though, well, they're better than the countries they colonized, or that these countries they colonized owe them something, man, this starts to create a real problem. See, what I would like to liken this to, specifically with like France and the UK, the whole Brexit thing. This is like you having a cookout, walking to all of your neighbors' houses, ringing the doorbell and saying, hey man, look, I'm a little bit low on honey, I'm a little bit low on sugar, I'm a little bit low on barbecue sauce. Can I borrow some of this stuff from you? And they give it to you, and you go back to your house, you have a huge cookout for you and your family, but then when your neighbors show up with a plate or two, when they come knocking on your backyard door, and they're like, hey man, I'm hungry, I gotta feed my kids, you pull your gun out and say, get the fuck off my lawn before I blow your head off. That's what's happening right now. That's fucked up, man. Again, sorry for swearing, but you know what I mean? Like, this is how people are actually feeling. I don't know if people are seeing this or people actually understand it. And I know people are going to criticize me for saying that and say, oh, well, that's not true, and yada, yada, this, that, and the third. But if you really think about it and you really analyze it, that's pretty much what is happening. You know what I mean? Like, it's just absolute craziness. How are you going to go around and colonize half the planet and then turn around and say, well, you owe us tax, we brought culture to you, and get the fuck off our country or get out of our fucking land now because we don't need you here in our houses after we invaded your homes, after we stole your culture, stole all of your minerals, stole everything that your country had to offer to make your country profitable, and brought it home to our house so that we became profitable. If you don't see a problem with that, you know what I'm saying? There must be something wrong with your head. So, you know what I mean? That's just something to think about. And this is something that's exasperating the minds of a lot of people in these countries and putting them in positions where, they now have to fight you. They got to fight me. They got to fight for this slice of the pie. And I don't know about you, but if I can't bring my family home food to eat at night, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get that food because eating and surviving is paramount. You know what I mean? We're here to live. If I can't live, I'm going to do what I have to do to live. I'm saying, man, it's crazy. I also notice a lot of people right now, they're saying bullshit, complete BS, like Black Lives Matters is dividing the country. Listen, Black Lives Matter is not dividing the country. Country was divided a long time ago. It's divided by small minds who don't see that people have the ability to be equal. You see, we know that all lives matters is a truth. We know that all lives matters is a statement that in all actuality is true. But if you disregard certain people, then that actual statement holds no merit. So you have to examine who needs help and when they need help and dedicate your time and your resources to those people who need help so you can lift them up and say, yeah, now we're standing shoulder to shoulder. But if you're 5 steps ahead of me and I'm behind you yelling out your name and you won't even turn around for me, I'll pick up a rock and throw that shit and bust you in your fucking head so you recognize who I am. Again, sorry for cussing, just is what it is, right? But you understand what I'm saying? So if you were to ask, in Canada, the natives, and a lot of black people here, and if you were to ask in America, natives and black people and some of the browns and the Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? Like, are all lives equal? Is all lives matter? They're going to tell you, listen, man, there's real gaps. There's real gaps. And even between, even within white people, there's gaps as far as, society. There's a hierarchy, an invisible caste system. We need to fucking shatter that caste system because it's BS. But we can't shatter it if we keep living our lives the same way every single day, which is why I say you need to be an agent for change and not an agent for destruction. Don't procrastinate on this shit because it's not going to change if you sit on your ass doing nothing. It's only going to change if you get up and actually demand some type of change. You know what I mean? Another thing that's really irking me right now, and people don't even see it. People don't see that this is a form of psychological warfare that we're engaging. It's all these Harambe memes. Listen, you're a dead gorilla. Let the gorilla die. Let that shit slide. All you're doing is bringing up, a gorilla who died, and unfortunately he had to die because he was probably going to kill that child. They couldn't sedate him. They don't have anybody at a zoo waiting on ready with a rifle and a dart inside of that rifle just to shoot a gorilla or shoot a lion in case somebody gets in their enclosure. That don't happen. You know what I mean? And even if they did shoot that gorilla in the throat with a dart, that gorilla could have freaked out and threw the kid 15 feet in the air and the kid could have died. You know what I'm saying? So they had to do what they had to do so that child could live. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people only bring up Harambe because this child's parents were black. Because nobody talks about the child who died in Disneyland a few weeks later who got eaten by an alligator. Nobody walks around with shirts that say, come to Disneyland and we'll make sure your kid gets hooked. But everyone's walking around with these dicks out for Harambe shirts. Or, people are posting these memes and making songs. They had a fucking vigil for him at Ryerson University. A university. What the fuck is that? This gorilla died like 6 months ago, man. Stop doing that shit. It's corny for one, and we have way bigger issues in the world that we need to deal with aside from a fucking dead gorilla. Sorry for cussing, but again, a dead gorilla? Come on, man. We got issues like, what's going on in the Middle East. And we got issues in our own yard that we need to deal with before we find ourselves under the thumb of so many problems that we can't get out of it. You know what I mean? So just drop that shit. Stop saying Black Lives Matters, separated the country, man. That's like blaming the Jews for what happened in World War II. That's like saying the Jews divided Germany. It's a cop-out. It's bullshit. It's BS, you know what I mean? And all this Harambe shit reminds me of Coney 2012. Nobody gave a fuck about those African kids when they were going around putting up their Coney 2012. And I call people out for that shit too. You know what I'm saying? People posting these memes, Coney 2012, but they're sitting there throwing back a Nestle chocolate bar in their mouth and they don't even know where that chocolate came from. Research who makes coca. You know what I mean? That shit's crazy. So the young people out there watching this, man, that's what's like, this is our world. This is our time. We can change the world, fix it, do whatever we want. But if we just sit on our asses and we do nothing, we can't expect any changes to happen. You know what I mean? Everything's going to be the same. Nothing's going to change. And we're going to be having the same fight when we have kids. And I don't know about you, but I don't want my kids thinking to themselves, man, I ain't shit compared to this person because my skin's a different color. That's some fucked up shit. I ain't shit because, I'm a different religion than this person. I ain't shit because I'm a different sex than this person. Man, we're all born in this world. You know what I mean? Another thing with that, when I mentioned skin color, is all this skin bleaching shit, man. They got mad skin bleaching creams, and they sell that shit all over Africa. They sell that shit all over India, all over Asia, all over the Caribbean. Why? Why? What's wrong with being dark and beautiful? You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with being you? I'm light skinned, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't mind if I was darker. I wouldn't really care. You know what I mean? But it's selling these creams, and again, it's another form of psychological warfare, telling you that the beauty standard is you have to lighten yourself down. You have to become something that you're not. And that's no disrespect to, saying white people, because y'all are beautiful. We beautiful too, though. You know what I mean? So I don't want people in India thinking, yo, I gotta lighten my skin because I'm as dark as, as dark as coal. You can be dark as coal and beautiful, man. You know what I'm saying? And when they got people like Sammy Sosa and Vibes Cartel bleaching their skin, man, that's absolute psychological warfare. You've been infected and you don't even fucking know it. So that's crazy, man. That's real crazy right there. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely, young people, you got to be an agent of change, not an agent of destruction, And it reminds me of something that Dr. Martin Luther King said. He said it best himself. He basically said that, when it comes to change and when it comes to race and when it comes to defeating racism, it's not the Ku Klux Klan that is the real enemy. It's not the rich black people who don't want to see other black people rise up, or, other people who really want to hold you down. It's the Jew, the Gentile, the other person who sits on a fence and sits in a state of neutrality, watches this shit go down and doesn't lift their voice, doesn't speak out, doesn't, give their opinion on the matter. Those are the real enemies. If you're, an average person and you have a voice and you're not affected by what's going on right now in the world, but you sit there quietly, you're just as bad as the people committing the sin. Open your mouth. You have the ability to make real change, effective change. You know what I'm saying? And we need you to make that change, man. Because like I said, there are scores of people right now on the verge of having a fucking nervous breakdown. Scores of people who are suffering from PTSD. Scores of people who are just like Mookie and do the right thing. Looking at that garbage can, thinking about throwing it through the window of Sal's Pizzeria and burning that fucking town down. Now, before that happens, we can stop that shit. That's up to you. You know what I'm saying? So let's remember, growth, progress. Growth is painful. But we got to go through those growing pains if we want progress and we want to change, man. You know what I'm saying? Mind control, corruption of your thoughts, destruction of your soul. Stephen Marley said that. Don't fall under the thumb of mind control, man. This is our world. This is our time. If we want change, now's the time for change, man. My name's Dustin Wareham. I just had to speak my piece. This is The Convo. Hashtag The Convo. If you like it, let me know. Hit me up. Add your comments. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to take this to a bigger national level. So, I'm in talks with one of my boys who's got an internet radio station. I'm just trying to, do up a proper proposal and see if we get something live where we can start engaging conversation. Because like I said, too many people yelling at one another. Not enough people really talking. Not enough people engaging in the conversation, figuring out ways that we can change this world together. So with that, again, my name's Dustin Wareham. This is hashtag The Convo. I'm going to go smoke my backwoods, free my mind. I'm out. Peace.